Now, this is the part of the show that we're going to do once a week where we get a chance to respond and to reflect on some of the criticism of RT from the mainstream press. They, of course, didn't call us to ask us to respond, so we want to respond to you, to our viewers, to whoever is watching. Maybe you saw this segment last week, and there was such an outpouring of opinion to it on the internet that I wanted to share some YouTube comments with you. Here is one. It says RT tells more about the truth about America than CNN, Fox, ABC, CBS, MSNBC, and all of the newspapers combined. That in itself makes RT a saint, well, thank you, compared to the trash fed to Americans and the rest of the world. That's why the attack dogs are out in force to try to discredit RT. I'm very pleased with the truth RT uncovers, or at least asks the questions no one else in the media is asking. That was Purell, one of our viewers. Another says, I worked for CBS, NBC, ABC, and PBS in a 26-year career in news and network programming, from journalist to news producer. I was fired for trying to expose the lies within the military-industrial media complex about Iraq and other endless cover-ups. RT is not perfect, but they're far more truthful than the traitors, liars, and media whores that I experienced firsthand. That was from Affinity Net News. And here's another that says RT and the Onion Network go hand in hand, kind of like watching Jon Stewart for your news. That was from Hobo59. And Hobo59, that actually, thank you, you bring me to the criticism that we want to address today. In an interview on NPR with a guest from globalmediawars.com, that guest was asked to describe RT's coverage, to say what his assessment of it would be. This was his analysis. It is entertainment news, and the gist of that entertainment is making fun of the United States. Their content doesn't try to take itself that seriously. Now, in that same interview, the interviewer from NPR, in talking about RT's coverage of Osama bin Laden's death, said, laughing, well, hey, maybe they were just thinking the whole thing would blow over. And also, the Global Media Wars guest said in its report on RT that RT's high production values cannot hide its lack of substantive journalism. So we want to take a look. You know, I wanted to go back and look at mainstream media coverage versus what RT was covering in similar times. And to do this, I checked some pollsters' research out. Pew Research tracks the top mainstream media stories week by week, so you can see a breakdown of the top 5 stories that they cover in that given time. And looking back, I did see that, yeah, there is a really, really great example where we totally missed one of the 5 biggest stories of the week that was covered by the mainstream media. Take a look.
But let us begin with Charlie Sheen.
We don't have to tell you, for the past week, it has been wall-to-wall Charlie Sheen on TV.
It's 5:30 a.m. Charlie Sheen climbs the stairs of his Hollywood Hills mansion.
A lot of people, Brooke, say he's taking his media blitz to the next level.
Sheen provided Dateline with his own never-before-seen version of his reality.
Tonight, Charlie Sheen. He's been everywhere for the last 3 days.
And at the end of our shooting, we wondered, as you no doubt will, what did we just witness?
That's what we wondered. What did we just witness? We totally missed it here at RT. We didn't cover Charlie Sheen at all. But to compare, I looked back at what our top stories were, some of them, in that week. Take a look.
America's middle class fighting a war already dubbed historic.
This is what democracy looks like.
This is especially true in Southern California, where paid FBI informants have fractured the cohesiveness of a law-abiding community.
I'm fearful of retaliation by the FBI.
Uncertainty over production has sent prices soaring, meaning the shockwaves from the Middle East turmoil are being felt worldwide.
The U.S. Sixth Fleet has been repositioning its ships in the Mediterranean. U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton stated, quote, nothing is off the table. And as we just saw, British Prime Minister David Cameron has echoed those sentiments.
As violence continues in Libya, the U.S. sends warships and more troops in that direction, fueling speculation of a military intervention.
As politicians, both state and federal, continue to ignore the calls of the people, their voices are only getting louder.
Labor protests, Libya, Middle East oil, Charlie Sheen. You decide which is more entertaining or more of entertainment news or more serious journalism. But I wanted, to be fair, that was a big week for Charlie Sheen. Very big week. He lost it. So maybe it would just be better to look at one day where another big story broke that we missed. And on this day, we missed covering one of the biggest newsmakers of the week. He was number 3, according to Pew Research that week.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
The governor.
California woke up today to a bombshell.
Schwarzenegger admitting he had a child with a staff member who worked for the family for 20 years.
We now learn Maria demanded he move out after the revelation.
It was a bombshell for everybody except for RT. What were we covering on that very day? Let's look. In Afghanistan today, at least 11 people were killed and 80 injured when violent protests broke out after a NATO raid that allegedly killed 4 civilians. G20 finance ministers are meeting in Argentina to address commodity prices. They're concerned about volatility. Now, you may recall food prices have broken 2008 records.
I think they have to be covered. And, you know, of course, Tim died in Misrata, Libya, and you know, was the story he was covering that day worth his life? No, obviously not.
The U.S. dollar is something that is the subject of a World Bank report that's just come out saying that it does not expect dollar hegemony in 2025. First of all, sorry you have to endure so much of me. I just happened to be anchoring that day that the big news broke with Arnold. But Arnold, commodity prices, war, which impacts more people? I mean, whose newsworthiness is more entertainment-based? You decide. And let's just look, too, at what is one of the biggest stories this very day on the cable networks. Let's look.
All right, we've got new developments in the Casey Anthony murder trial.
The Casey Anthony murder trial now is in its 7th day.
Casey Anthony's mother, Cindy, breaks down on the stand.
I forget. Casey Anthony all over, breaking down every single little tidbit of one murder trial that affects one family that is now expected to rival O.J. Simpson levels of media coverage. 600 press have reportedly been credentialed for one criminal case. Today, we're talking about the economy, the debt ceiling, unemployment, 1 million people trying to get jobs at McDonald's. You can decide. We just gave you 3 examples of some of the different choices in coverage. You can decide what you think is more entertaining, more substantive journalism, and I'm going to have to leave you on that note.